Hello, Namaskar, sir.
Mhm.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Uh, I am MTech alumni of IIT-Ropar, WE department, and it's been a pleasure to meet you again. Last year at Guru Purnima, also I had an opportunity to discuss with you on climate change hypocrisy, where you given us some real deep insights on the issue, and which really enriched us all. And today, directly getting back to my question, today my question is related to Indian weddings. Since in the last 2 months only, November, December, we saw like on every consecutive day there were some like what we say wedding season. Like there were some barats and processions and a lot of noise, and even social media was flooded with the pics and videos of royal luxurious weddings, and which has been followed not only by the film stars now, and that is being now followed by the masses as well. Like even the common middlemen, they are also making up those marriage ceremonies like that. And even because of this reason, even I stopped using Facebook as well. Whenever I open my account, I just see my feed flooded with like some marriage or some pre-wedding shoots from some of my relative or some of my friends. So like while I was like looking at all these things, uh, I read some results of some survey which were related to Indian subcontext were related to our country. So which showed that about 60% of Indian families spent about their more than a year's annual earnings on the wedding ceremonies. Even more shocking was like about 20% of Indian families spent even like their like lifelong earnings in the wedding ceremony. And among these people, about like more than 60 or 70% people were those who actually borrowed money to finance these weddings. So being in a middle class family, I know like how hard it is for a common man to earn, and like he spends like all this, he do all these hustles to earn this much money, and then in the next side I see that within 2 days they just spend all that money just like in fraction of seconds. So it is like very much shocking for me. And and also like during this survey, I got to know that this was not the case like about 30-40 years back. Previously the scenario was like about like what would say 30-40 years back, people do have marriage ceremonies, but it was in small number with small budget. And even way back in 1975, uh, even in some states there were regulations that in a wedding ceremony there should not be more than 25 people in that gathering, what even COVID forced us to do. So like I just wanted to like hear your views on this, like how we like why we Indians are so much crazy about big fat Indian weddings. And you might have seen this trend as well. Like few years ago, they started pre-wedding shoot. Now I think they are even starting this pre-engagement shoot. After this, may not some pre what they will do. So I just wanted to hear your views on this, like why we are so much like
This,
crazy about this.
this should not surprise you. Hmm? A wedding is the utmost celebration of a subjugated consciousness. We are people of consciousness, right? Our species, the Homo sapiens, we have consciousness, we think, we formulate, we conceptualize. So, there is this consciousness, and this consciousness is subjugated to the body. That's our condition. Before you understand why weddings mean so much to us and why there is so much clamor and such a big flow of money, you'll have to understand who we are and therefore what is this wedding thing in the first place. We are people with enslaved consciousness, a consciousness that is slave to the body. More politely, more classically, it is called a body identified consciousness. But that does not really expose the real state of consciousness, if so politely put. If you really want to understand how we are within, then the word subjugation is much more appropriate and revealing. So we are people whose minds are full of bodily business. Our thoughts are all full of bodily business. At the same time, we aren't exactly animals. Though the moment we say that our minds, our lives, in fact, are full of bodily businesses, one is tempted to say that we are de facto animals then. Because it's animals that are characterized by being almost 100% body identified. An animal, its entire life is driven by its bodily imperatives, right? The body says get up, the animal gets up. The body says I am hungry, get me food, the animal starts running around. The body says I am tired, let's sleep, the animal falls to sleep. The animal does not have to think, the animal does not have to decide. The body decides for the animal. Whatsoever the body says, the animal has to do. And you cannot make the animal do something that the body is not asking it to. Getting it? We are very, very close to the animals, unfortunately, in the sense that we too live lives that are very body-centric. But we cannot openly declare that because we think we are not animals. If you openly declare that all you live for and live as is the body, it would be a thing of shame. Not so much internal shame, but much more social shame. We are subjugated to the body, we are also slaves to the society. Right? So, even though we have to live as bodies and live for the bodies, we try to pretend as if we are higher beings living for nobler causes. That's just a pretense, but nevertheless we continue with that pretense. Now the body, what does it want? What is its ultimate desire? The body's ultimate desire is to have pleasure and to avoid death. Have pleasure, avoid death. Have pleasure, avoid death. These are the two things that the body wants. And because we are body identified people, to ensure these two things, we have come up with the institution of marriage. Marriage ensures continuous supply of sexual pleasure and also the pleasure that comes from emotional and financial security. Also, marriage ensures reproduction, and that's what the body wants. Its own continuity in the form of other smaller beings of its own type. Are you getting it? So because marriage represents exactly what this animal body wants, and we are very, very bodily people, therefore we go bonkers on weddings. Do you understand? I am living as the body. I might not be declaring that because I pretend to be a higher being. If somebody tells me I'm an animal, I feel offended. So I will not openly declare that I am the body just like animals and I live just for the sake of bodily things. What are bodily things? Security, pleasure, reproduction. And that's all. What else does the body want? So if you look at the life of the ordinary man, which is pretty much everybody, we all are living just for the sake of these things. Are we not? We say happiness is the purpose of life. We say your life is incomplete if you don't have kids. And by all means, we want to have measures of security and armors all around us. We want to collect money so that we feel secure. We cultivate a network of relationships so that we feel secure. We try to have more and more knowledge so that we feel secure. All these are very animalistic things. These are things that even an animal wants. These are not really things that separate us from animals. In fact, the more you go after these things, pleasure, security, continuity, the more you are ascertaining that you are an animal. And now you see why the wedding has to be such a big thing. It is the biggest festival of the body. And we are animal bodies. We are dogs and cats. We are dogs and cats that must pretend that they are not dogs and cats. We are dogs and cats with a social face. So dogs and cats can just go and mate anywhere. We are not allowed by the society to do that. Dogs and cats just mate and litter anywhere on the street, and you don't identify a pup by its father, do you? Or a kitten by its father. But we say we are noble beings, we are respectable people. So we cannot just mate around like that. Hence, we organize a festival. A festival to grant us religious and social and legal license. That's called a wedding. A wedding is the occasion where it becomes absolutely open that the biggest thing for you is pleasure and continuity and security. Otherwise, why would you be found celebrating so much? What exactly are you celebrating? You celebrate so much in a wedding, right? What exactly are you celebrating? You are celebrating pleasure. You are celebrating security. You are celebrating continuity by way of reproduction. That's what you are celebrating. Because wedding is the biggest celebration. We all know that by our everyday empirical experience, and you too shared some data ascertaining that. And because marriage is the biggest celebration that we have, that just proves that bodily pleasure is the biggest thing in our lives, and security and continuity. Otherwise, why would you celebrate so much? What's there to celebrate? Think of it. What's there to celebrate? Yes, we are celebrating sex. We are celebrating the body. A male body, a female body coming together. And we have gone bazooka. The entire society is dancing. And if you just ask them a very objective question, exactly why are you dancing? What is this celebration all about? Nothing. Male cells and female cells coming together. That's the name of that celebration. And if you call it out in an obvious and flat way, very directly, everybody everybody would be offended, and they are offended just because they have never bothered to look at the mirror. They do not know who they are and why they are indulging in stuff. You become better as a human being. Does a society bother? Do they come and garland you? Do you invite 2,000 people and spend 70 lakh rupees? No. But now you are ready to mate a girl, have sexual union and produce kids. And everybody wants to dance. Is that not obscene actually? Is that not obscene? I used to think since I was a kid. On that stage, there is that man and that woman sitting. And why are they being displayed and paraded this way? I could never bring myself to accept that probably such a thing, the same thing, is going to happen with me one day. I was very clear, no. Because the whole thing is obviously vulgar. These two are going to have sex now, and everybody is jumping and hopping and shrieking and partying. Seriously, is sex such a big thing? First question. Secondly, what do you have to do with the intimate affairs of those two people? Had we been a society that valued something higher than the body, then the topic and the context of our celebrations would have been very different. It would sound weird when I say so, but you would have celebrated finishing a great book. And you would have invited people to come over and dance. Why? With great sincerity, I just completed my first run of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And now that's really something to celebrate. Come over, everyone. And not necessarily something religious. It could be something from Marx or Dostoevsky. From the philosophy side, from literature side, anywhere. I am a better human being. Now that's something to celebrate. Two people are going to have sex now. How is that something to celebrate? And if you celebrate that, you are an animal. Because it's only animals that have nothing better and higher than sex to indulge in. Human beings are supposed to be targeting higher things, no? How can we say that my entire life savings have been reserved for a wedding celebration? But we do that. And when we do that, we do not even know what we have declared ourselves to be. Animals. We have declared ourselves to be animals. If we are so fascinated with weddings. The kid just cracked a difficult problem in mathematics. Now that's what would make me throw a party, not his birthday. I'll organize a great party. Why? Because my kid just cracked a great problem in mathematics, and that's something of an elevated consciousness. That's something animals cannot do. So that's something to be joyous about. No, the kid was born this day, so I'm calling everybody, you come over and we'll cut the cake and we'll have meals and such things. What stupidity. Even animals give birth. You and your wife, in one moment of animalistic fetish, had sex and gave birth. And you are celebrating that day since 20 years. Are you mad? Even if you're not mad, you're just vulgar. You're telling everybody, this was the day when we decided to fuck. So please come over and dance. Why should anybody dance? Why should anybody clap? What great achievement! What have you done? That which you have done is happening all over the place. The entire jungle is nothing but a huge mating ground. And God forbid if the husband forgets the anniversary. This was the day we got licensed to have sex. How can you forget this day? And I know a lot of romantics would say, this man can only see sex wherever he looks. Marriage is actually the union of two souls. Sex and all is incidental. All right, let's conduct a small experiment. Let's tell the two souls that sex will not be a part of their union. Let's see whether the union still happens. Both of them will run away. Tell the husband, you can have the wife without sex. Tell the wife, the husband you will get, but no sex. And then let's see whether any marriages happen. The conclusion is obvious. The two are getting together only for sex. Just that they want to pretend as if the matter is nobler, higher, more virtuous, more respectable. So you create a whole tamasha around the thing and you call the priest and you spend 5 crores and you want to display that you are better than dogs and cats, which you are not. Exercise your imagination. Think of a more conscious society. Think of the occasions that such a society would celebrate. They would celebrate a man fighting his physical limitations. The doctors had declared somebody to be so badly impaired that he would never be able to walk again. But this person, this man or woman, just by way of willpower, kept trying, exercising, and today he has been able to not just walk but actually run. Now that's something we should celebrate in the town hall. Let's call this man, the entire city. Let's have a gala feast. Now, this is something to celebrate. The literacy rates in the city have reached 100%. Now we'll celebrate that. Somebody in the family had been wanting to write a small book of short stories, but he never felt inspired enough or free enough. or daring enough to attempt that or complete that, today the book has been published. Finally, he could challenge his barriers, complete the work, and get it in print. Let's celebrate. Now, these are things to celebrate. One boy, one girl, running around the fire, by the sound of verses they don't comprehend at all, verses uttered by a priest who in all probability himself does not comprehend the verses. What's there to be so happy about? In a conservative city, there emerges a girl who wins a medal in a state level athletics competition. No, we will celebrate that. We'll celebrate that. Even if she does not win a medal, she just manages to participate, we'll celebrate even that. That is something that deserves our respect. What is meant by a celebration? You do not celebrate your meanness. You do not celebrate your fall. You do not celebrate being an animal. You celebrate when you rise, don't you? That's the very definition. You celebrate your rise. You celebrate your ascension. You celebrate when you overcome a hard challenge and a worthy challenge. That's what you celebrate. Those things must be celebrated. Instead, all the money is going towards weddings, with the result that just this month, it's almost becoming certain that India is already the most populous country in the world. Don't you see that level of population directly corresponds to our fascination with weddings? What is the purpose of life? Go wed. Go wed. That's the purpose of life. Still in small town India and rural India, the day a daughter is born, at least the financial purpose of the father's life is decided, cast in stone. Now I have a daughter. So all I am doing is saving for her wedding. And the expenses that you quoted do not go merely towards celebration. A lot of that is actually towards dowry. So what is the poor father doing for the next 25 years since the girl is born? Just saving, saving and saving. And if he by chance happens to have 3 girls, think of his predicament. And now do you see that this fat wedding business is also directly related to female infanticide and feticide? Because if a daughter is born, you'll have to arrange that kind of wedding and dowry. And you already have 2 daughters. And your means do not permit you that kind of expenditure the 3rd time over. So the moment you know that a 3rd girl is about to arrive, you kill her in the fetus, in the womb. Do you see this? Do you also see how the wedding thing is actually very derogatory to both the groom and the bride, especially the bride? Do you see how It promotes all kinds of wasteful industries, cosmetics, gems and jewelry, the entire wedding industry, including event management and whatnot. And these are all very wasteful industries that provide zero value addition to the society. Still, they exist. Not only do they exist, they prosper. And banquet halls. Even the best of hotels have turned into de facto banquet halls. You go anywhere, what you find is a wedding. You just go to some proper good hotel and you sit in their restaurant. You want to have a quiet cup of tea. And you cannot have that quietness. Because just next to the cafe, there would be a huge wedding being organized in the premises of the hotel. And then you call up the manager, the senior most manager you call up, and you say, Sir, I come to you because I love the silence and the solitude you provide. Why are you harassing me with this dhol tamasha? And it is happening continuously. You know what he says apologetically? He says, Sir, we can't help it. The kind of money these weddings provide us with is irresistible. We cannot deny that money. And when weddings take place, they book the entire hotel. 100% occupancy is guaranteed. If we deny these weddings, they'll go to another hotel, our competitor, and he will get a competitive edge. So we have to have these, because the entire money is being spent on the weddings. How can the hotels now deny the wedding? So the whole atmosphere is polluted. The silliest kind of vulgar songs at the highest volume. And you have to tolerate all that. Why? Because two beasts are coming together physically. And they are just so happy about it. They can't get over it. If there is one thing that very loudly tells of the cancer we as a society are suffering from, it is these obnoxious wedding celebrations. I'll go to the extent of saying a man who is fond of attending weddings is someone you should stay away from, a man or a woman. If there is someone who actually manages to enjoy being in a wedding, it's a dangerous man. Avoid this person. Any sane person, anybody with even dimly lit consciousness, would clearly see the horror, the vulgarity, and the absurdity of the whole wedding tamasha. He'll feel very misplaced, very misfit. If he is there in that celebration, he'll want to run away. The horror of that cumulative action. So many people have come together and somebody is doing this, somebody is doing that, and there's a photographer and a videographer. Many of them actually are running after you. Every single thing is simply obscene. Obscene, obscene, obscene.